It's perfectly quiet for a second. Then there's a big kaboom. We fire some explosive bolts, and the space shuttle would separate from that fuel tank. And this fuel tank would just fall back in the atmosphere and burn up like a shooting star. It was the only part of the shuttle we did not reuse, and that would leave us then with the space shuttle orbiting the Earth. It only takes 8.5 minutes to get to space. That was pretty amazing to me every time. I bet it took some of you more than 8.5 minutes to get from your car through the gates here this morning. And in that short period of time, think about it, you could be 200 miles above the Earth, and at this point we're traveling at a speed of 17,500 miles an hour. That's 5 miles a second. So imagine getting from here to Orlando in 9 or 10 seconds. No stopping at the toll booths, right? And we go so fast, so we orbit the Earth. We go all the way around in only an hour and a half. This is Chaki Bukai. She was the first Japanese woman in space, and I flew with her on my first mission. And in space, you don't walk around like we're used to doing here on Earth. When you want to move around in space, it just takes a little push with your finger, the smallest push, and you go sailing through the air like Superman or Superwoman. And you'll keep sailing until you hit a wall or until you reach out and stop your motion. If you like doing somersaults, you can start flipping in the air. And you go round and round all day until you get tired and you reach out to stop your motion. So what do you think? Does it sound like fun up there? Yes. We have a blast just floating around in space. And in space, there's no up or down. I think we pretty much agree which way is up and which way is down in the theater this morning. But in space, there is no up or down. And you know here on Earth, if you stand on your head, all the blood rushes to your head because of gravity. I'm sure you felt the pressure from that. In space, that doesn't happen. You go upside down, you feel totally normal. And in space, wherever your head is pointed, that direction is up for you. And wherever your feet are pointed, that's down. So this is Nancy and Kevin on my second flight. Nancy's looking at Kevin there, saying, "Hey, Kevin, you're upside down." Well, he's looking right back at her, saying, "No, you're upside down." In his little world there, she's the one that appears to be upside down. So you never feel like you're upside down, it's everybody else in the room. Now in space, we don't have a refrigerator, freezer, microwave oven, nothing like that. So all of our food is freeze-dried and it comes in small plastic packages like I'm holding here. And to prepare a meal, we bring it over to our little food station here. There's a needle that'll poke into that package. We can inject hot water in there. This dry, hard food will absorb that water, soften up, and after 3 or 4 minutes, it's ready to eat. We would just cut this open with a pair of scissors, and then eat it with a normal fork or spoon right out of that plastic container. And all the food has a little dot of Velcro on it, and after we make our meal, we can just Velcro to ourselves. You can look to a window, and maybe you watch the Earth go by, and you have your lunch or dinner right there. How convenient is that? We don't use a dinner plate, because what do you think would happen in space? It's just going to float away. So everything has Velcro. We can stick it to ourselves. These little blue squares you see here are Velcro where you can anchor things down. Now for drinking in space, we can't drink out of a normal glass or bottle like we're used to doing here on Earth. If I had this bottle of water in space, I could take the top off, tip it upside down, and get a drink, and nothing would happen. Without gravity, the liquid's not going to fall or pour out of the bottle. So we can't drink out of a glass or bottle. And instead, we drink out of oil pouches like I have here. This is a bag of powdered orange juice. We've got powdered lemonade, powdered coffee, powdered tea. And to prepare the drink, we bring it to that food station. Needle pokes in there. We inject the water. You just mix up the powder a little bit with your fingers, poke a straw in there, and squeeze it into your mouth. Just like a juice bag, juice box, and very similar to a Capri Sun juice drink. If your kids have ever had those little aluminum bags. And over here is a bag of lemonade somebody made. Just Velcroed it to the wall to keep it from floating away. Sleeping in space is a little different. The inside of the space shuttle is pretty small. It was about the size of your kitchen at home. And we didn't have dedicated bedrooms. So when it was time to go to bed, we would just take a sleeping bag, attach it to the wall with a few clips, and you just float up there, slip inside, zip it up, and you go to bed. We wear the dark eye shades that you see here because we go around the Earth every hour and a half. We get 45 minutes of daytime, 45 minutes of nighttime. You don't want the sun coming into your eyes all the time, you need to wear the eye shade. You see how our astronaut has his arms crossed like this? Here on Earth, with gravity, if I totally relax, my arm's going to fall to my side. But in space, if you totally relax, The natural position of the body is a little hunched over, and the arms tend to come up and float right there. So can you imagine you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and the first thing you see are two hands floating in front of your face? Our astronauts are not that brave, so we tuck our arms in like this. And the real reason we do it, you see a lot of cables and switches off to the side. You don't want your arm in the middle of the night floating over there, bumping a switch, hitting a cable, doing some damage. So we just try to get nice and secure, like you see here. Now for cleaning up in space, we don't have a shower, we don't have a bathtub, we don't even have a sink like you have in your kitchen or bathroom at home. So when it comes time to clean up, we've got some of these drink bags that I showed you. And instead of having powdered juice in these, a few of them will have powdered soap. We could add hot water, mix up a bag of hot soapy water, put it on a washcloth, and we give ourselves a sponge bath. That's how we clean up in space. For washing our hair, we've got a special shampoo that you see here called No Rinse Shampoo. And this was developed for people in the hospital who can't get out of bed to take a shower. And it's very easy to use, doesn't require any water. All you do is squirt some of that shampoo in your hair, you work up a lather, and you take a towel and pat it dry and you're done. Very easy. I took this picture, I love the bottom line on the bottle right there. It says, for beautifully clean, full-body hair. And I'm going to share with you what that looks like in space. That's Susan, our pilot. Anybody with long hair is going to float all over in space. I'm not picking on Susan here, even my short hair floats all over. We say that every day in space is a bad hair day, and that's pretty accurate. Now, exercise is really important in space. As I stand up here in front of you this morning, I'm using my leg muscles to walk around, to fight gravity. But in space, it's a little push with my finger and I sail through the air. And everything is weightless in space. I lift this podium with one finger. I lift your car with one finger in space. So we don't use our muscles at all, and it's very important exercise. So we have this bicycle we ride every day for about 45 minutes. We get your heart muscle going, get your leg muscles working, so that when you come back to Earth at the end of the mission, you're still in good shape. And as I would ride this bike, there were two big windows right above me. And I could lean back in my seat as I was pedaling away. And as you're riding the bike, you look out the window and maybe you see Australia goes by, or Africa goes by. In 45 minutes, we go halfway around the planet during that time. Some of the astronauts used to make a big deal about it. They would say, I want to bicycle across the Pacific Ocean. If you ever hear that claim, don't be too impressed. It only takes about 15 minutes. Forgot this is in there. You guys know what this is? Just skip this. Can we skip it? You know, I gave 2 talks yesterday. They voted me down both times. Are you sure you want to hear about it?
Yes.
This is a good group today. Okay. This is the toilet on board the space shuttle. Very similar one up on the International Space Station today. And it's quite similar to an airline toilet, kind of in a small closet. Maybe 4 feet across and 5 feet high. We have a curtain that goes across the front, like a shower curtain for privacy. And it's got a toilet seat there like our toilets here on Earth. But here on Earth, we use gravity to collect the waste material, right? What do you think might happen in space? That's a rhetorical question. So this toilet is kind of like a porta potty. You may see at a football game or